אני מאוד שמחה לראות את האנשים פה, יש כאן אנשים שהם חוזרים כבר הכנס החמישי, יש כאן סטודנטים, יש כאן פסיכולוגים, יש כאן אנשים שבאים מהתחום של האוצרות, ואנשים שאני לא מכירה ואיזה יופי. לגבי הנושא של להמיס את הגבולות, אני חושבת שבילהה דיברה על זה מספיק. אני הזמנתי בכוונה אנשים שהם באים ממנעד מאוד רחב של המסת גבולות. מי שירצה לנו, הראשונה תהיה ג'ואנה בריין, שהיא הגיעה אלינו במיוחד מארצות הברית, והיא תדבר על CBT ועל הדוקטורט שהיא עושה. היא ממש עושה דוקטורט בפוטותרפיה בפלורידה, והיא עובדת עם ילדים עם טראומה וניצול מיני. היא בעצם תמיס את הגבולות בין הצילום לבין החוויות הכאוטיות האלה. ההרצאה השנייה היא תהיה הרצאה של יובל טבול שיושב כאן. שני צעירים נתתי להם לפתוח את הכנס כי אני בעד הצעירים. ויובל טבול הוא ממוסס גבולות שהוא יגדיר אותם באופן מאוד מדויק. המפגש שלי איתו הוא חדש ומשמעותי. לאחר מכן אנחנו נלך לסניור סיטיזן שאני הראשונה בהם. בעצם אני אנסה להמיס את הגבולות שבין הפסיכואנליזה לבין האומנות. פסי גירש תמוסס את הגבולות של מוסר, חיים ומוות. ורות נצר תמוסס את הגבולות בין היצירה הוויזואלית לבין הפסיכואנליזה היונגיאנית. אז אני רוצה מאוד מאוד להודות למיכל שביט שהיא ארגנה את כל ותקתקה את הכל באופן מופלא, להדס פלדמן שהיא ראש היחידה, ואני ממש מאחלת לכם שאם יש איזשהו גבול קטן שאתם כתוצאה מהכנס הזה תמיסו בלבבכם, ירווחנו. תודה. בבקשה. It's an honor for me to invite Johnna Brynn. She's coming from the state, from Florida, and she make a special speech for us with a lot of pictures and a lot of knowledge. So please.
I'm really excited to be in Israel. I've been here one other time. 7 years ago exactly, I stayed in Jerusalem for about 3 months. I fell in love with the country and I knew I was to return at some time in my life. I'm 36 years old now and time's ticking. I wanted to come back. This is my first break in my PhD program that I've had in 4 years. And I had 3 weeks, so I wanted to go somewhere special. And I came to Israel. I met Dr. Anat and Bridget on the internet and wanted to find out if something was going on in July. And sure enough, today it is, and I'm able to be here. I really wanted to come and learn from you all because this is pretty rare to have something like this in America. I think other countries are more creative, more progressive in this type of field. And so I wanted to learn from you all. So even though I don't understand any Hebrew, but a few words, I will use my imagination today as I sit here and also try to learn from the photos and want to meet some of you. So feel free to come up, ask me questions after. I really am here to get to know you all and learn from you. But I'm here today to share just a little bit of what I have been doing in the past couple of years and how I'm using photography in the work with children. And so I actually sent Dr. Botzer a huge PowerPoint, about 80 some slides, and I knew I only had a short amount of time, so I've decreased it to about 30 or plus slides. So I will do my best to keep it concise and give you the best information that I've derived in the past couple of years, specifically with sexually abused children in Sarasota, Florida. So I live in Florida, and I am originally from Kansas City, but I live in Sarasota, Florida currently. So I'm going to focus on the trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. And just to get to know you a little bit, is anyone or everyone familiar with TF-CBT? It's an approach used with trauma victims in cognitive behavioral therapy. You can just raise your hand if you've heard of this. It's familiar. Okay, I've got some definitions so we can all learn together today. I was in this country 7 years ago, And the reason why I wanted to show a few photos from my time here, I actually had a blog and I had a bunch of photos, but I went ahead and just kept a few for us. I really became alive in this country with my camera. Photography was always something I was interested in as a child, and when I went to school for psychology, I put the camera on the shelf for many years. I came here and the camera literally was ignited. I had a blog, a lot of following from the photos that I've taken here, and it's why I'm really excited to be here and to give back to you all, because it was this land that really ignited the passion for photography for me. And so I was taking photos and really enjoying my time here. I went to Hebron, Jericho, Bethlehem, Jerusalem, and Tiberias. So just a few places around. And this was from my time here. And it was not so good camera, but it was enough to capture the photos. And so I'm really excited to be here and be able to deliver just the passion that started from then. And I went to America and I started a nonprofit organization with children called Star Shooter Phototherapy for Kids. Literally, I had no idea of phototherapy. It was in my head that I wanted to take photography and my education and mix it together. So that in 2005 was the first time I've really tried to bring these two things together without understanding or knowing anyone was doing this in the world. So it was just my little idea based off of coming from Israel and the passion I had for photography, mixing that with working with children. From that organization, I've worked in places, mostly in America, but also international in China and Bangladesh. I worked at residential treatment facilities, after-school programs with children. Kansas City is where I'm from, Myrtle Beach, Sarasota. These are all in America, and I did a few projects in China and Bangladesh. Bangladesh specifically was with human trafficking, trying to prevent human trafficking. It was education for women and children, and it was an organization doing that all over Bangladesh. And I was able to be the photographer for that organization, as well as give the children disposable cameras to go into their village and document their lives. And it was really special. And currently I'm in a PhD online, and I'm learning a lot. And I start my dissertation, and I take the exam and the dissertation as soon as I return to America next week. So this is a really great break. And I'm also working as a therapist at the Child Protection Center. It's with trauma victims, specifically sexual abuse, some physical abuse. The nonprofit organization I started is with children. Because I'm in school now and busy, it's kind of sitting on the side, but I wanted to help people know what to do if they wanted to help children. So I created a little guide with activities, and it's just a PDF booklet. I'd be happy to share that if you have information afterwards. I could do that. So I use these activities with children. This specifically was after-school program. This is an example of something I've done with children using emotional scavenger hunt. They had to go and photograph their emotions and find it in their environment. So that's just one example. How many is using photography in therapy currently? Okay, good. Great. Is there just photographers in the room? Photographers, so we're creatives. And just therapists? Okay, so a good mixture. Awesome. There's some more photos of children. I would get donated cameras for them to use. And they can create their own bio, put it in a book. We've done different ideas. This specific photo to me is special. It symbolizes my passion to help children in other countries, maybe they're unfortunate. I was in the back of a van and I shot it as they were running. They'd never seen a white person before, so they were running towards us in the van. I just got a new office in Florida, and I want to make this large on the wall to remind me what my goals are. And I'm sure most of you know, but I wanted to clarify what phototherapy and therapeutic photography, the difference is. Phototherapy is using forms of images with the client to elicit communication and help through the treatment process. Therapeutic photography is actually allowing them to have the camera and using that to express themselves, which I've done a little bit of both. But therapeutic photography is a process that allows the client to be in control of creating new images by using a camera to photograph subjects which can highlight their thoughts and emotions. Any questions about these? Judy Weiser was the first person that I discovered on the internet that was incorporating this type of work. Has anyone heard of Judy Weiser? She's in Canada. Okay, she was a bit of a pioneer in the field, and it really was eye-opening for me, and she had a list of resources on her website, and that's how I kind of came across Bridget, and so it's very helpful if you're wanting to explore and learn more what's going on around the world. She has some resources, so it was my first time encountering anyone that was doing this. So I told her I'd let people know. TF-CBT is based in the cognitive behavioral therapy, changing thoughts, behaviors, and helping someone, specifically in the trauma-focused cognitive behaviors, if something's been done to them or if they've experienced a trauma. So cognitive behavioral is a therapy approach with a theory that changing the child's thoughts and behaviors can improve their functioning. It can be used to help anxiety, depression, and trauma. I focus on children. I have worked with adults, especially the parents of the child or the caregiver. Sometimes they're too young, so you have to educate and help the parent. But specifically, I'll focus on children. The trauma focus is evidence-based treatment. There's a lot of research that has gone into this theory. Using it for children and teens who have experienced one or more traumatic events and the symptoms of post-traumatic stress. This theory was originally created to use with children that have been sexually abused, but it's effective with all sorts of trauma and children who have been physically abused, maybe witnessed domestic violence, or experienced multiple traumas. Any questions about this type of therapy? These are some examples of trauma. And in different countries, there'll be different traumas. Specifically, sexual abuse and physical abuse I'm working with. But when you have a child with multiple traumas, they may have had a loss of a loved one or been through a divorced family. So you're working on multiple levels. Car accident, war, human trafficking, separation from a parent, domestic violence, or neglect is all trauma. And there's some assessments, and I'll get into the assessments more specifically on how to recognize what the child has if they're not able to communicate it very well. But these are typical symptoms that we see of a child with sexual abuse. Fear of being alone or nightmares, headaches, stomach aches, insomnia, flashbacks, low self-esteem, anger problems, fear of men and women, being confused about sexual feelings and sexual orientation, maybe guilt, maybe they feel they were wrong, and self-harm, hurting themselves. There was a little girl, about 8 years old specifically, that I worked with. She was sexually abused by a neighbor, the boyfriend of her neighbor's mother, and she had a great fear of being alone or in the dark or with men. And I was not even able to leave the session room to use the restroom or anything. I couldn't leave her alone because there was so much anxiety and so much fear. So where do you start with that with the child when they're not even able to be in the room or be left alone for any minute of time? She couldn't go to the bathroom by herself. She didn't want the lights off. So it really can affect a child, and when they're that young, it's hard for them to know how to handle that trauma. A lot of times the children don't want to talk about it, and I think that's how photography can be a great tool when there's difficulty in expressing in words, and photography has been very helpful. These are a few of the assessment tools. These are online, so I think they're expensive. The organization I was with was able to provide these for us. These are very helpful and recommended in this treatment. To use the trauma symptom checklist for children. It's an assessment the child actually takes. They're about 8 to 12 years old, 8 to 16. And there's also one for the parent. So if they're from 8 to 12, you'll have 2 assessments. So these are very helpful in recognizing what are the symptoms of the child's trauma. What are they experiencing? Everyone's different. And a depression inventory, it can also assess the level of depression the child has. And a sexual behavior inventory is when a child has perpetrated on other children, so they've started to cause harm to others in sexual ways. This is the assessment that we've used to measure what exactly is their difficulties. And so if you Google this, you can go directly to the website and you can see exactly how they measure it. And I think I'll get into that a little bit. Is everyone understanding me okay? Okay, I'm loud enough. So the treatment, just to give you a general idea of what this looks like, it's once a week for a child, anywhere from 12 to 24 weeks. Sometimes it's been longer if a trauma has occurred during the treatment process and another trauma occurs, it may extend the treatment. But it's 1 to 2 hours. It does involve individual therapy as well as with their caregiver, sometimes with sibling as well. So there's a process to it. It helps. So the first part is educating them, letting psychoeducation. About trauma and common symptoms so they know they're not the only one, they're not alone. Also how to teach them how to recognize their feelings and educating them on safety skills. We want to equip them to go out and be able to protect themselves. Helping them to express their traumatic story to their parent or caregiver, which involves the family session. So not only does the child experience the treatment, but once it's expressed to the caregiver, then that's better for the child to have that support. I just wanted you to understand kind of the process of this type of therapy, and I'll show you how I plug in the photography. Just because that's what I've loved to do, and my supervisor was open to it, and I hope to do my dissertation on this population at this organization using this type of model. So these are the 8 modules within the program. They are to be in order, and if you skip around, it's ineffective. So I want to focus on just a couple of them, on how I've used photography in these 8 modules. Like I said, psychoeducation and parenting skills is the first place to start. A lot of times people minimize and are not sure that this is abuse or that it's wrong, so helping them understand what's going on with facts and information on what sexual abuse is can really encourage them to go forward with therapy. A lot of times the child is immediately stressed, and it's difficult to use phototherapy as the first process, as they need to learn to manage their anxiety. Maybe it's too much, they can't sleep, so their body's tight, and stressed. So to teach them those tools right away is also the next step, so they can learn to relax and then engage in photography. I have used photography in this module as well. But you definitely want to help the child to be able to be calm in session. Going faster than I thought. Ask questions if nothing's clear. I'll just slow down. You guys should have added 50 slides.
Is it vivo mastery?
Good question. The in vivo mastery. So we have the affect expression modulation, which is learning to express feelings and the intensity of feelings, cognitive coping and processing, helping them really process that in their minds and how that's affecting their behaviors. Trauma narratives, telling their story, which obviously photography is a great way to tell a story. In vivo mastery was what his question was. It's presenting things in their environment that will cause a trigger. So maybe they were sexually abused in a bathtub, and the smell of a soap really triggers their anxiety, and they can't breathe, and they get anxious. So to use soap during the session, maybe having it there, or letting them smell different kinds. It doesn't have to be that exact, but you ask the child, and by this time, once they're in order, this is very late into the process. You've already been with the child maybe a couple months. So you've already learned what their triggers are and what their problems are, and then you can, for instance, the one little girl with a lot of anxiety, she wasn't able to be around any men, even at the grocery store. It was very difficult for her to be in public places without having some anxiety. And this was fear. She's 8 years old. So having her mom do different things. So the session for me was in a room in a building. I was unable to go into the public with them. But helping them process that in that environment. Does that make sense? So yeah, it's helping them know what to do when the triggers are coming back up. And you want to prepare them for when they're out in the world and handling their stress. And this could also be used for many other issues. If there's a car accident and you're supposed to get in the car, you can go into the car slowly, using the techniques and the methods from the process. So if they would use the stress management they learn and keep breathing. But it seems like you know, for the breathing and all this models, it's like CBT, like music. Yes, that's the foundation of it. And then I will show you the 4 areas that I want to focus on for the photography. Does that answer your question? Which ones use photography? Okay. And the conjoined sessions come later with the family, and that's when the trauma narrative can be discussed with the caregiver. And you want to enhance their safety in the future development before they leave completely. So where does this come into play with photography? How can these two be implemented? The 4 areas I want to focus on are stress management and relaxation, affect expression and modulation, cognitive coping and processing, and the trauma narrative. There's, I'm sure, many other ways that you could use photography in this model, depending on the child or the client. These are the 4 areas that I specifically pulled out for us to look at today. What is stress management exactly? It helps the client identify ways to calm themselves, teaching them relaxation through deep breathing or guided imagery. Any tool that would work for them to help them relax. Sometimes with smaller children it's difficult because they don't have full motor skill. But it can be as easy as taking a cup on the belly, showing them to breathe in the belly, to go up and down rather than their chest. Or bubbles, I use like the 3-year-old children, bubbles, help them learn to breathe, exhale. So this is the whole point, is to help them decrease their stress. And photography that I've used has been more with older children, younger children, maybe it's been really simple, like let's photograph different emotions in their faces, and they can see themselves. Even on a phone, you can use your phone, and that's a quick way. And they can collage it together, and they can identify which feeling is what they're expressing through the photos. So there's things you can do with smaller children. But the examples I'm going to share today is with preteens, teenagers. Diana was a 16-year-old, and she was my first client at this organization that really almost forced me to use photography because she was so difficult to express. She didn't want to be there. She didn't want to express. She didn't want to talk. And that went on for several sessions. And I asked my boss for permission to break outside of the TF-CBT model. At the organization, they welcome new techniques. They really, because we were funded by nonprofits, so when you have funding coming from other organizations, you have to stick to what they want you to. So using photography is just a tool, not necessarily a complete theory. You can plug it in really almost to anything, I think, that you're doing. This little girl was really what broke me into using it in this model. She was in the foster care system most of her life. Her mother died of a drug overdose, and she was put in foster care by her grandma because she was too much to handle when she was younger. She never knew her father, and when a child is in foster care, they have many therapists. This is almost their culture, and they've seen and they know the process of talking. She was over it. 16 years old, she was done. She refused to engage in therapy sessions, but she came. She was there. And that showed me that she was wanting something. If she's present, she wanted it. She was forced a little bit by her new adoptive mother, but she was there. She wasn't throwing things, she wasn't running away. So that means she's receptive. She had a mini diagnosis just from being in the system. They just want to put labels on the children to help their transitions to different foster homes. Unfortunately, she had ADHD, adjustment disorder, with mixed disturbance of emotions, adjustment disorder with mixed anxiety, a depressed mood, and Asperger's syndrome, dysthymic disorder, chronic depression, and major depression. So she had a list before I even did any kind of assessment. You could just read the paper and see this child has been through a lot. Nothing was going to really help her. That's what she thought. So the first intervention that I did with her is I brought a Polaroid camera. So everybody know Polaroid, the old time. Impossible Project is a company that still makes film for these cameras. I don't know, has anyone heard of the Impossible Project? Go to theimpossibleproject.com. They still make 4x5 instant film, unlike like the Fuji, the 2x3 that pop out. So you can take an old camera and use this new film. Pretty cool company. They actually wanted to donate a bunch of film for you guys, but didn't get here in time. So maybe I can see if I can, I don't know, get something eventually in the future. But it's a really cool company. They believe in what I'm doing. I used that film with the camera and told her, just tell me about yourself with this camera. Show me. Don't have to speak, just show me. So we're in this room and have some toys, and I said, you can go outside in the front parking lot, or you can stay inside. And that was the first time that she started to talk about herself, was using the Polaroid camera. Because it pops right out, she's able to see it. Of course you can use a phone, but there's something neat about bringing an object that she's never seen in person before. So I really started to see that she enjoyed photography, and this was a way to bond with her and help her talk about what was going on. She was just being adopted by a new family, and it was a very difficult transition for her to do that. And actually, I didn't write sexually abused by the foster parent. So she was in a foster care family, and the foster father sexually abused her, and he was the psychologist at a high school in that town. So she was, no trust with anyone. And it wasn't fully processed through the law, so he was still out. She saw him at the store, so he was still out, and he wanted to adopt her. But because of her allegations, yes, 5 minutes? handed her right now. So I was able to give her a photography intervention to take home and to photograph with her cell phone things that brought her peace. And that helped her with her stress management. It was nature and pets. She was able to see she needed to go outside and to manage her stress. It really brought her peace to be outside rather than indoors. So she was able to recognize that through the photos. I am going to go pretty quickly now because we have a lot of examples. This is another young girl. I'll let you do some of the reading as I'm talking. Stress management, she said she likes to sleep and listen to music. So she photographed it. These are the Polaroids that were scanned with my phone. She also was sexually abused by her father all the way until just a few months ago. They discovered it when she was 15. So a lot of dissociative problems. Affect expression and modulation, this is learning to express and learning how to, the intensity of it, how to identify the intensity. So it's the same girl. I actually did a photo session with her, and she requested that. Towards the end of our time, she requested to be photographed, as she had a lot of low self-esteem. I was really surprised she wanted to go through with this. And as you can see, the first photo that I took, she was very reserved. By the end, she was laughing in the nature. She was even playing with the squirrels and picking up flowers. So we were able to process that together and see her self-confidence grow in that session. Affect expression, identifying your feelings. This young lady was also sexually abused by a relative at 9, and she's 16 now. She was happy. She said someone told her she was able to be a good giver. So two little figurines giving each other something. This young lady they've all been sexually abused. She wanted to be heard and listened to. And that's all that she really talked about in the whole session. So she wanted me to write it out, and she wanted me to photograph her holding the sign. She wanted to be listened to. Concept of coping and processing, connecting thoughts, feelings, and behaviors together, the triangle. So this person, at 14 years old, was able to identify their thoughts and feelings related to the abuse. It's very difficult to see, so I took pictures with my phone. Breaking free is getting thrown in a pool. You either drown or you sink. If you didn't see that freedom was really freedom, very much bonded. The closer I get, the harder it is. Broken pieces are the hardest to fix, dead ends. She was at the initial part of treatment. This was actually in group. To explain that was group therapy. Cognitive coping also, she felt that she was fat and overweight. She had eating disorder. And this was a picture of a toilet, her peeking into the toilet. She said she did that every day. So that's her processing her behaviors and her thoughts. She felt fat. She thought she was fat. The trauma narrative is a huge story to help the child tell what the process that they've been through with their abuse and treatment. The one that was sexually abused by her father, this is the photo. She was captive by evil. I think the book represents her dissociative disorder. And it took her about 20 minutes to set this up. She was very involved in it. So I had to create the process, create the subject, and then photograph. These are the websites for more education on this topic, this theory. I'm going to write that down. Any questions? Flew by that because I wanted to be on time. Any questions about this process or how you can plug it into TF-CBT? There's some free training on here. It's really great. I was trained in Florida in some, I think it's in South Carolina that they originated, but they'll go a lot of places to do the training. I'm a certified trauma specialist after the training. And my research dissertation is going to be involving all this. I actually started as soon as I returned back to America. But as I've learned, it's going to probably change as I get more involved into it, as I need to find out the why and the how does all this work. We know it works, but we want to know how and why. So I want to focus on the memory processing and how a child formulates their identity. So the images, we all know, affects memory. So I want to really focus in on memory processing and how that formulates their identity and the process of forming an identity, and which can also come out to better behaviors and more success for them in the future. Question? Okay. Yes. If there is an imitation.
We are identified through the process.
If there's
What is this orientation? Is the question.
If there's imitations, imitations of like the process.
Yes. Move the camera. And that's frequently. And the method. Then during the process, the character. You know, some limitation.
Oh, limitations? Sorry, I thought imitations. Limitations? Yes, absolutely. Each child is different. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to do this with the child. It's very important to do your assessments. I would do up to 5 assessments before I ever started any kind of progress with the child, any kind of intervention. And it's very important to set goals in treatment, as we all know. So you want to apply the phototherapy within the goals. That would be a big one. So yeah, absolutely. I would be client sensitive to do that. Good question. Thank you all so much. Feel free to